Welcome and good morning, everybody. SF Live, we have a breaking news special for you on this Wednesday morning, 7 a.m. here in Vancouver, 10 a.m. in Toronto. And we will be joined by Danièle Spethmann in a few short seconds. She's the CEO of Warrior Gold, and they put out an interesting drill result this morning, and they hit 155 grams over 75 centimeters or 0.75 meters at the Goodfish Kirana project in the Abitibi in Ontario. And we titled the video "The Next Macassa." And we'll get into it in a few short seconds, why we named that video that. Danièle will put some color to that and why we think there might be a chance that it has a decent chance to become that at least. And it's in the right jurisdiction. We'll get into that. But before I switch over to my guest, before we get to the nitty gritty of the drill results, follow us on YouTube, follow us on Twitter, of course. Hit the like button. It tremendously helps with the algorithm. If you're following this company, if you're an investor, you sure want to see more investors following and stumbling upon this video. So hit that like button. We appreciate it very, very much. Now, enough of me. Let me switch over to my guest. And Danièle, let me switch to this camera. There we go. Wonderful. Good morning. It's great to see you again.
Very much for the invitation. Thanks for getting up so early.
Oh, no worries for you any day. Like we met last week at Roundup in Toronto. It was a great update, great conversation. So we figured, like, well, you got some drill results out this morning. We got a chat, and I really like what you've been doing. But I'm going to take it back a step. You've been on the program pretty much a year ago. It was February 25th, and a lot has happened since then. You've been working in Canada on the project. Why don't you quickly recap it, the last 12 months for us before we talk about the today?
Okay. Well, the last year, 2021, we did now just over 6,000 meters of drilling. We did 9 holes. Anyway, we drilled from hole number 35 to hole number 52. And again, every drill hole has intersected either anomalous or high grades of gold. We're very fortunate that we can work, year round, 7 hours north of Toronto, very easy access. As you mentioned earlier, we're right next door to the town of Kirkland Lake, which hosts the Macassa mine, which is one of 7 mines along that break. And, although the Macassa is very ambitious, analogy, we are on a second or third order structure. We have second and third order structures on the property that would host potentially the same amount of gold that the main break does. So we are just exploring that break for that opportunity.
Fantastic. Yeah, let's talk about what was the objective of the program? Right. So what was the target? Like I did the math quickly in my head. Theoretically, you should have drilled 17 holes, 35 to 52. But what was the objective of the program, Danièle?
Well, the A zone is our main structure, and that has been our focus since we started drilling. We've taken it from, a showing, a historical gold mine that the miners took out, it was 40 tons of 1.25 ounces in the 30s. So we had originally had a showing there of 12 meters, 17 grams. And we have grown that since we started in 2018 to over 650 meters long. And we are now just down at 325 meters depth, vertical depth. And that's a significant amount of width and depth. And there has been gold, and there is gold and anomalous gold all through that. So the objective is to define that and to get a sense of where this high grade gold ore shoot is going.
Fantastic. Yeah. So you put out some results this morning, and it looks like you put out hole 46 to 55 holes this morning. 46, 47, okay. 48, yep. 49, 50.
Yeah, I know, it's still early for you.
Oh, it is. Yeah, still getting caught up, and just had 1 cup of coffee so far, so still working on that. But run us through the results. 155 grams of gold over 0.75 meters, but also 17 grams of gold over 2.25 meters. Can you put some context around that for us?
Okay, so we are finding gold in a new zone that we're really excited about. This 155 grams over 3/4 of a meter, which made the headlines as well. We did intersect a half a meter of 72 grams. The other half of that core intersected, and it's at the bottom of the table. It assayed 561 grams per ton, and we didn't report that in the headlines because it's the other side of the core. So I'm pretty sure your readers understand that it's not selective
I was going
sampling.
to, sorry for jumping in. I was going to ask you about that because there have been issues in another jurisdiction in Canada with that and sending in the wrong half of the core and specific visual, let's call it visual selection of drill core and sending visuals in. Or the most visually pleasing drill core, apparently. So that's why I really appreciate you explaining that, and I didn't want to stop you there. But if you could continue and elaborate on that, I think that'd be really helpful.
Right. So it's your listeners, not your readers. But so when you're sampling core, you draw your line on it, and the cutter cuts it, and that you have to stay consistent. And so the top half of the bag or the top half of the core goes into the bag. And as much as you might want to put the bottom half of the core in, you can't. So in this case, because the bottom half of the core had a lot of visible gold in it, we did assay it. And down the road, when you got closer to a resource, when you were getting towards a resource, you would measure both sides and then you would average. So, call it our bad luck, call it our reality. The top half went into the bag. I'm not unhappy with 72 ounces. 72 grams is 2.5 ounces. If you average the two pieces, that's a 20-ounce piece of ore. Yes, it's narrow, and yes, it's high grade. That's exactly what they mine and have mined in the camp. Narrow, high grade ore. Macassa, you mentioned that earlier. They're down 2 kilometers. They've got half meters that sometimes measure 2,000 grams per ton. That's the nature of the camp. That is what it is. And we could spread this out. Some of our intercepts, we could have spread out. We had one that measured 35 grams over 7 meters. To stay focused and to report exactly what it is we're intersecting, we narrowed it down to what it is. And again, let's remember that Warrior Gold is still drilling relatively shallow for the Abitibi. So
yeah, that makes a difference. Like shallow is the key here, right? You mentioned 2 kilometers deep at Macassa, and then like you've been barely scratching the surface on that. How many holes have you put out, and are there any holes remaining in the lab right now?
No, everything's out. We waited because to get all the results in. To put out one spectacular result is a little promotional. And we wanted our results to come out in context to tell the whole story at the time. And that is what we have done consistently from the beginning of time, is put out the results to tell the whole story, how we're expanding the A zone, how we're moving down at depth as well. We had some fantastic numbers at the C zone in our last year, and we don't just put out the great numbers. That doesn't serve Warrior Gold's purpose right now. Our purpose is to explain to our shareholders that we are advancing this in a sound and scientific manner, and we will get to where we all want to be, which is, a great shareholder value, but we have to do the proper science. So right now we're waiting for the OTV results, which are the downhole camera results for all these drill holes. That'll help us with the structures, a better understanding of the structures. We're waiting for that team to put that story together so we get a better understanding of what's happening in the hanging wall. And then from there, we'll go on and plan our next program. We will drill deeper at the A zone. But, we've also acquired an additional 15,000 hectares since August. So that was the other thing that we did in 2021. We did some drilling and then we acquired some new ground. So Warrior Gold now has one of the second largest land package in the Kirkland Lake camp. And our land package is north of the break. And historically, there was all the focus has been on the main break. It's been on that Macassa break. 100 years of mining. That belt doesn't, that structure hasn't given up. gold. Obviously, you can see how well Macassa is doing. So there has never really been a concerted effort to look for gold north of the break. So there's patchwork work. So we're really excited about consolidating this land package. We're going to do high resolution airborne magnetic survey with VLF and LIDAR. We'll put all of that together with the historical showings. We'll do a structural interpretation, and then we'll get mappers and prospectors out there this summer. So lots of work, lots of news, lots of ground, lots of prospectivity.
Fantastic. Yeah, you pretty much answered my next question. Is like, what are the next steps? Like, you want to advance the project, you want to continue exploring the A zone you mentioned. What is, like, you haven't put out an exploration update in terms of like budgets and plans for this year, but where do you see this trending, and what do you need to do to make it happen?
Well, we're going to let the dust settle on these results as well. We'd like to get the structural data in so we can better target the A zone, and then we'll pull the whole team together and we'll figure out what our next course is. We've got a few people that are interested. Of course, we're looking for a strategic partner because it's a big piece of ground. It's going to take a lot to get it to where we want to go. We like to call ourselves, or we would like to be ultimately Queenston 2.0.
That's a big ask, eh? That's not too bad, but you gotta have a plan. You gotta have goals in life. So I really appreciate that, right? And Danièle, thank you so much for joining us for this breaking news special. Really, really appreciate it. And thanks for tuning in, everybody. This was Danièle Spethmann. Fantastic results from the Good Fish Kirana project. And we're going to keep following the story, keep an eye on it as well. And we'll keep you updated on what's happening next at the project. So stay tuned for more, and make sure to follow us on YouTube, follow us on Twitter, hit the like and subscribe button. And don't forget to leave a comment. It's much appreciated. Thanks so much for tuning in.